So what I need you guys to do today is write equations of lines. Depending on how the information is given to you will change how you approach the problem. Okay?
Okay.
So let's go through some examples. Please notice in the instructions you need to find the equation of the line both in slope-intercept form and in standard form. Do you see that? Standard form?
Yeah.
Okay. Standard form is a form that you really focused on in Algebra 1. So I'm going to do number 4 in standard form, and I'm going to need you to do the rest of them in standard form. Okay? If you are struggling in standard form, I'll be happy to help you during tutorial time. You just got to come and see me and ask. Okay? But there will be questions on the test about standard form. Okay? All right, so let's start with number 4. It says the slope is -1/2 and it contains the point -2, 5. I really wish we had some sort of formula if we knew a point and a slope. Oh, we do. Oh, we do. Point slope form? Point slope?
Point slope.
Okay, oh, thank you. Point slope form. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Okay? Well, our slope is m, right? And this is our x sub 1, and this is our y sub 1, right? So really all that we need to do is plug everything in, substitute everything in. Okay? So y minus 5 equals -1/2 times x minus, what did I write? X minus -2. Sorry about the mess up. Wouldn't be my first of the day. So what should I do first?
Yes.
Anybody know what x minus -2 is?
That would be positive.
Oh, isn't that the same as x plus 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so we could do that first. What am I going to end up doing with this -1/2?
Throw it in the garbage. We don't need it.
Well, we're not going to throw it in the garbage. Okay, we're going to distribute it to each term inside of the parentheses, aren't we?
That's what I'm doing.
That's what you meant. Okay, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to write y minus 5 equals -1/2 x minus 1. Now, where in the heck did I get that?
Well, half of 2 is 1.
Half of 2 is 1, and it's a -1/2, right? What's left to do?
We gotta get the x by itself.
We got to get the y by itself, so I need to add 5.
Yeah.
Y equals -1/2 x plus 4. Any questions about that?
No.
I would like the opportunity for just a moment to blow your mind. Is that okay?
It's hard.
So what if I started here instead? Let me scoot it down a little bit. Y equals mx plus b. And what if I said that was m, -1/2? What if I said that was x? And what if I said that was y? What is -1/2 times -2?
-1.
Positive 1?
A positive 1, yeah.
And then subtract 1 from both sides? So b equals 4? Look. Isn't that what I found?
Yeah.
Wait, so there's more than one way to do this problem?
Of course.
Oh my gosh. So that's my slope-intercept form. Okay? For the record, if I'm putting that into standard form, I got to get x and y on the same side of the equal sign, which means I need to add 1/2 x to both sides, which gives me 1/2 x plus y equals 4. But if you'll remember from our rules from yesterday, a, b, and c cannot be fractions. So I'd have to multiply this whole thing, the whole entire equation, by something that would make that fraction go away. In this case, the denominator of that fraction, which would give me x plus 2y equals 8. And that's my standard form for number 4. Is there any questions about that?
No. Give me a second.
Okay, just as a reminder, A, B, and C can't be fractions, and A has to be positive. Okay, this crazy kid earlier, you know what he said? Oh, if it can't be 1/2 x, I'll just put 0.5 x.
That's a fraction.
Right? And
The
his
same
argument
thing.
was, well, it's not a fraction, it's just a decimal. But you realize those are equivalent, right? So we can't have something like that. We want whole numbers here, integers. Okay? Preguntas?
No. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that means questions in Spanish. Okay? All right, so let's look at number 5. Number 5 says it contains 2 points, 2, -3, and -6, 1. What do you think about that? How are we going to start?
Well, we can find the slope.
We could find the slope, couldn't we?
No.
So, this crazy kid earlier, I wrote this on the board, right? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And this crazy kid was like, wait a second. What about this? What do you think about that?
It don't work.
It don't? It don't work? Okay. Let me show you something real fast.
Doesn't look like that.
Why? Here, I'm going to label mine. I thought I had a different color. Oh well. X1 and Y1, X2 and Y2. I'm going to label those. Watch this. Y2 minus Y1 divided by X2 minus X1. Well, that gives me 4 over -8, which is -1/2, right? Well, look at this. Y1, -3 minus Y2 over X1 minus X2, which gives me -4 over 8, which gives me -1/2.
Doesn't work.
So it doesn't matter, does it?
It does.
Okay? This is the formula that I think shows up in most textbooks. I've seen this formula online somewhere in several places. And also, this seems to make more sense to like people, like logical sense. Start with the first one, subtract the second one. I don't care which one you use. They're the same. Okay? The only thing that will get you messed up is this. Look. Y2 minus Y1 over X1 minus X2. That's where you'll mess up. Okay? If you start with the second point, use the second point at the beginning. If you start with the first point, use the first point for both. Okay? So I know the slope. Either one, I know the slope is -1/2. Okay? Now, do you see that it's not any different than this one right up here that we just did, number 4? You want to do point slope form, or do you want to use slope-intercept form?
Start that down.
Mhm.
Point slope.
One of them.
One of them. Point slope.
Since they're the same, you can write either one down. I don't care which one you write down.
Point slope.
You want to use point slope?
Yeah.
Okay. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So y minus y sub 1, which is -3, times -1/2 times x minus x sub 1, which is 2. Now, why did I use -3 and 2 as my x and my y? Why didn't I use -6 and 1?
Because
Does it matter which one I put in? If both points lie on the line, won't they tell me the equation of the same line? Yes. Okay. I chose this because I'd already labeled these x1 and y1, and that's what I have here, x1 and y1. Okay? But it doesn't matter which one of these points you choose. Y plus 3 equals -1/2 x plus 1. Then when I subtract 3 from both sides, I get y equals -1/2 x minus 2. there any questions? Okay, number 6 is one of the hardest on the whole page. Do you know me well enough by now to know what that actually means?
Sarcastic.
It's super sarcastic, right? How hard does number 6 look compared to the first two?
No,
Well, it's way longer, isn't it? A little bit longer than the first one, way longer than the second one. So it must be harder, right? Okay. What's the slope of number 6? M is 2 for the line I'm trying to draw because we know that parallel lines have the same slope, right? So I can start writing the equation y equals 2x plus something. What do I need? What is the something? It's the y-intercept. Oh my goodness. What is that point?
That's a 4.
That's the y-intercept. It's 0, 4. Guess what the equation of the line is? Dun dun.
That was hard.
Any questions on 6? What if this said 1, 4 or something like that? Could I have gone straight to this equation? No, it wouldn't be written in slope-intercept, or excuse me, in the intercept form in as a y-intercept. So I'd have to do all the things like I was doing up here. Okay? So look at 7, please. What do I know? I know perpendicular lines have 90-degree angles to each other, right? But what do you know about their slopes?
They have opposite slopes.
Opposite, reciprocal, right? Opposite, you got opposite real good. Don't forget reciprocal also. So before I can figure out what the slope is of the new line, I've got to figure out the slope of this line, don't I? So let's put this in slope-intercept form. 3y equals negative 2x plus 7. Divide everything by 3. So y equals negative 2/3 x plus 7/3.
Whoa, whoa.
Why are you wooing me as if I was a horse?
That's the slope.
That is the slope, isn't it? Of the old line. If this is the slope of the old line, what's the slope of the new line that it wants me to write?
Negative 3,
If I'm saying opposite reciprocal, I got to change the line, or excuse me, change the sign, and then flip it over, don't I?
Yeah.
If it was a negative, now it's a
Positive.
positive.
3, 2.
So my new slope is 3/2. So since we use point slope on this one up here, can we use slope-intercept on this one right here?
Yes.
See both ways? Okay. So I'm going to use y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to have y as 5. 5 equals m is 3/2. X is negative 4. And b is what I'm trying to find, isn't it? Okay. So I have 3/2 times negative 4. 3/2 times negative 4. Don't I just multiply straight across? So it's negative 12/2. Negative 6. So I have 5 equals negative 6 plus b. How do I solve for b?
Add 6.
Add 6? What's b? So if my slope is right here and my intercept is here, is that enough to write the equation of the line?
Yeah.
Y equals 3/2 x plus 11. Okay, now 8, 9, and 10 are the hardest of the whole worksheet.
You're a liar.
Yes, I am. You ready?
Yeah.
Do you know how to graph this line, y equals 3?
Yes. Yeah.
It crosses the y-axis at 3. So it's this one right here. Crosses the y-axis at 3. Okay? If I'm going to write the equation to a line that's perpendicular to that, which axis is it going to cross?
The X.
The x-axis.
At 3. At 2.
Where is it crossing the x-axis?
5. 1.
At 5. Done.
Wow. Wait, what?
One, two, three, 4, 5, 1.
The lines are going to cross.
Shut up.
No, it'll touch the arrow. Bam. They're kissing.
It's going to be right there, right?
They're hugging. Okay. How would you hug someone?
There's only one variable, so when there's only one variable, we know that that's either a horizontal or vertical line, right? If it's y equals, it's crossing the y-axis at 3. If it's x equals, it's crossing the x-axis. If I know it goes through this point and it's got to cross the x-axis, which x value is it crossing the axis at? At the x value of the point. Okay? So what about this one? It contains 5, 1 and is parallel to y equals 3. If it's going to be parallel to y equals 3, which axis is it going to cross?
Yeah. Both?
The y, right?
Yeah.
If it's parallel to the y-axis, let me grab another color. It's going to be right here, right?
Yeah. So
It's going to cross the y-axis where?
that 1.
At 1. Let's try to do this last one without graphing it.
Okay.
It's going to be perpendicular to x equals 4. If it's perpendicular, which axis is it going to cross? The y-axis
At -7.
at -7. Perfect.
Crap.
Are there any questions about those?
No.
Okay. I need you guys to do 4 through 11 on this page.
112.
Do you see 4 through 11?
Yeah.
And then you're also responsible for number 12. Now, this crazy kid earlier said to me, we didn't do anything like 12. And I was like, what are you, 7?
Yes.
Okay? First of all, this page right here, you're right. We haven't done an example today of these problems, but these problems are all a combination of everything we've been learning for the last couple days and everything from the last unit, all the transformation stuff. Okay? So we have done a lot of these. I just want to see how far you can do of these. Okay? I will put some of these on Instagram tonight, so go check. Okay? Do you have any questions?
Can you tell everybody I said hi?
No. Do you have any questions?
No.
Peace.
Hey, how cool is